Hey guys, I'm Josh. Welcome to another episode of Yammy Noob. Today, we are taking a look at luggage available for the CRF 300L, and all of this is universal gear, so it's available for your motorcycle as well. I recently got a tail bag for my SV650, and we have been selling a bunch of this gear on our store. So we got with Nelson Rigg, got the entire collection of the trails and lineup, and today we're going to be putting it on this bike and trying to draw some conclusions about whether or not it's worth ditching the backpack and putting some bags on your bike. So for you street riders, you're probably thinking, like, what considerations are there? I see Harley guys with panniers and they look like they have them, but my bike doesn't. There are actually a ton of places you can put storage onto a motorcycle, and I'm just gonna show real quick. And we have a bag for each of these slots that we're gonna be putting on today. Starting with a front fender bag. You see this on dual sport bikes. You see it with cruisers as well though. You'll often see a handlebar bag. We don't have one though because that is not dual sport spec. You have a tank bag right in front of you. So when you're sitting here, you've got something right in front, typically with a map or a cell phone or something. Behind you, on your passenger seat, you can put a tail bag, and this typically is gonna go in the place of a passenger seat. Even behind that, you have a rear fender bag. Sometimes you might combine these two and put some giant monstrosity here. Totally up to you, it's a lot of real estate. Lastly, you can even put panniers on the bag and fill up this entire space on either side with storage capacity. So, we have multiple options for almost each of these spots, but let's go over the available options for a tank bag and for a tail bag first. So before we start putting these bags on the bike, I'm going to explain your options. Now, there's lots of options as far as location, but there's also options as far as size. With these bags on the bike, bigger is not always better. For example, this tail bag, a little bit big for a dual sport. It fits. You can strap it down. It'll totally work. This is the size that will fit a full-size helmet. I will say, looks a lot better on an adventure bike than a dual sport bag. And that's why they have two smaller options. Same scenario for the tank bag. We picked up this big one with Spite's KLR in mind, and the smaller one is definitely the one that's going to be going on the CRF. So keep that in mind if you're shopping for luggage, that oftentimes they're identical products in vastly different sizes. Make sure you get the size that is actually going to fit the need that you're looking for. Okay, starting at the front of the bike, this is your front fender bag. There's a lot of space here that you can use to store things. So this bag has a slip resistant back here that helps it hold on to these plastic surfaces, but the way it stays on is you just throw it up here. This Nelson Rigg stuff is awesome the way that it cinches on. So put two clasps on either side, do the same on the bottom. You got a strap here, pull it snug, do it on the bottom, and you're done. All right, so we have the tank bag and the tail bag on now. And come here, I can show you real quick where this is all strapped in. The tank bag has a loop that connects and you run it around the front of the head there, in front of the steering stem. So it is wrapped around, you cinch your cords tight, put them all tidied up inside there, and you've got the front done. The back has longer straps that you reach down. I went to this section of the frame and then ran it underneath this piece of fairing and did the exact same thing on the other side. Same situation here, cinch them down, and that is killer. Extremely secure and very comfortable to sit with. So for the tail bag, the tail is a little bit of a different story. You've got a few options. They sell, Nelson Rigg and many brands will sell a rear fender bag, which is this here. This one comes with a tool roll and everything. And the installation on this guy is you can drill holes through here, through the bottom, through your fender, and affix it atop the plastic. You can also buy a luggage rack for your bike. A lot of ADV bikes have them. It's a very common mod on dual sport bikes. And these straps will allow you to hook onto a rack, especially like the Nelson Rigg rack that you might find for most dual sports. We went with the tail bag. This can go on the fender section or on the rear seat, passenger seat of most bikes. And this is the one that has 3 different sizes. This is our medium size. The big one on this bike looks comically large, but if you need to carry around an extra helmet, that's the one you want. We also have this little bitty one. If you don't quite need that much space and you just want to keep a little bit of a slimmer, slick look. So this guy is actually just strapped on using 4 straps to where you would mount your luggage rack. It has these 4 bolts that protrude probably 1.5 inches and have a nice big head on the nut, so that I just wrapped the straps around there on either side, cinched them down, and then tied them up underneath so that the excess cable is tidy. And we're good to go. Let's move on to the panniers. All right, so we're revisiting the tank bag strap. When I was hooking up this pannier strap up to this same location, I realized that on the right side of the CRF is you've got exhaust all through here. Exhaust pipe is right here, runs right here, right behind this piece of plastic. So, and out here to this heat shield. So this is one big consideration. These are universal parts, but you have to make sure and think critically about where you're cinching them down to. Nelson Rigg will sell you a heat shield if you have an exhaust can or something that might touch a part of your pannier. This CRF pipe does not get that hot and has a shield already, but we added it just for a little extra real estate there. So the tank strap here, I'm going to strap onto the frame at this point above the exhaust. And then this strap here, I think we're just going to strap it onto the outside of this little support that looks like an ankle guard from the exhaust. And then we should be all good. These bags are killer because the soft bags have the ability to completely compress and just cinch up against the bike, which is a killer feature, considering when these are fully loaded, they stick out a good 6 inches from the bike. So the ability when one or both of them are empty to just tighten them up really small and flat against the side of the bike. You still can see them and they still look a little bit dorky, but at least you don't have these massive bags sticking out either side of you. All right, install is done. We have everything on this bag that we're gonna run, and like we explained, it's a little bit of a modular system, so pick what's right for you. We've got the front fender bag, we've got the tank bag, we've got a tail bag, and I've got panniers as well. But what I wanna know, now they're on the bike, I like the way they look, can I fit everything in here that I would normally take on a day ride? Does it allow me to take more than I would normally take on a day ride? Does it detract away from the experience of riding the bike? It's a very nimble, lightweight bike that you're going off-road and shaking it around a bunch. So is it annoying to have to move around these? We're gonna figure all that out. So I'm going to pack these up with my day riding essentials and we're gonna go for a ride. So let's get after it.
All right, everybody, we are here on location, off-road at our secret testing facilities. And the bike is looking good. Very kitted out. Right over here was not bad at all. We'll do a little on-road section as well, but being a newfound dirt boy, the first test we had to do is going to be off-road. So, I have the bags filled up. I've got tools in here, a couple of wrenches, pliers, adjustable wrench, a handful of stuff, probably 6 pieces over there. I went ahead and loaded up the saddlebags with just extra stuff, rain gear, an extra layer if I were to get cold, maybe a change of shirt. I think there's a pair of pants in there that I put as well as if I were camping. I don't always take extra pants on my day rides, but sometimes I do. Top bag is full, camera gear, all kinds of equipment for filming this event. I even have a giant tripod here. The tank bag, I'll show you. I've got a Insta360 camera in there. I've got a Gatorade. I've got an apple. I've got a bunch of granola bars. And my phone can go right here where I too need navigation. Yeah. So the bags are loaded down. We've got at least probably 40 pounds of gear. Let's do it. Let's ride. Let's see how this goes. If we notice any difference riding off-road here. I've only ridden off-road here once before. Leave me alone. I'm not going to tell you where it is. So extra weight on a bike like this definitely is supposed to kind of, you should feel it, I guess. I'm not flying through any of this stuff, that's for sure, but I don't feel it. Woo! All right, and now we're moving again. So let's get up here. We took a little spill, I'll be honest. Okay. We took a little spill. Let's take a look. Everything looks fine. Look at that. Soft bags for the win. Take these guys off. My flying eyes. Alright, let's keep moving. I feel like I'm huffing and puffing a lot. I'm moving around a lot. I'm saving things. I'll tell you what. I am not noticing the bags, that's for sure. Off-road riding is so much more difficult. And that's what makes it more fun, to be honest. Okay, there's a road over there I'm about to pop on. So let's wrap up here so you don't see where I'm at. Off-road section, man, just killer. I didn't bump into this once. I didn't even bump into what's behind me once. Standing up, I could not be further away from these bags. Dropping the bike, did great. No complaints there. So the fact that I don't have to hide my backpack before I ride trails or wear my backpack while riding trails, yeah, 2 thumbs up. So far, that's a point for the bags. I'm liking them. I will say, a little bit harder to get off the bike. You definitely got to throw your leg up a little bit higher. Everything seems to be in place. All right, let's go try some twisty roads. All right, so one of the reasons we all love riding street bikes is because of how much fun they are on twisty roads, right? So we're here on City Park Road to see if my new luggage is going to detract from the twisty road, the sportier aspects of riding a bike. And I'll tell you one thing, I've been on this road on my SV with my Nelson Rigg sport bag, and it doesn't. What I'm curious though is the panniers. Now, I'll be honest, we're not hanging off the bike, we're not dragging knee. I don't really plan on moving at all from where my butt is now, so I can't imagine anything will be different, but we are here to find out, right? We're just not going to assume. So, cooking it here at 44 miles an hour. I haven't noticed any change in the bike. I haven't noticed any change from the weight, even from wind. So really, we're here trying to tease out a lot of the negatives that come with riding with luggage. I'm not finding them. Maybe we need to do some different kind of testing. Let me know if you don't like riding with luggage, and if so, is it just because you don't like the way it looks? I get it. Most bikes look better than a dual sport. You know, some of them are really pretty, and maybe the luggage detracts from that, and that's your issue. I don't know. For me, having these bags on here and not having my backpack on and having so much stuff for the day. I mean, I packed more than I would obviously normally put in a backpack and still had more space. I couldn't find more things that I could potentially need on a day ride to stuff into all of this different storage options on the bike now.
Okay, so we're back at the shop now to wrap this thing up. This has been a lot of fun. We did our on-road and off-road testing to try and decide if there was anything removed from the experience of riding a motorcycle when you put bags on your bike. We already concluded that it for sure opens you up to a lot of options and things you can do with your bikes. And no, I don't think it detracts from riding. Now, there's a lot of applications that we didn't test today, and there's a lot of different kinds of bikes that you could be considering this option for. I think on a dual sport like this, I think the bike looks better with bags on it. It didn't take away from riding it. If you have a really beautiful street bike though, I can understand that saddlebags that look like that might detract a little bit from the way they look. But all in all, to wrap this up, really, I'm a big fan of the luggage. I say get a piece. I don't think you have to go full bananas like we did on day one with this CRF, but there's a lot of things on this bike now and a lot of things I can take with me on day rides that really free me up and make me feel more comfortable. From having tools when I don't always have tools, to having snacks when I start to feel a little bit low on energy. It just seems to make it a much better experience. And yep, go buy luggage and put it on your motorcycle. But that pretty much wraps it up for today. If you had any questions about my experience with these products, let us know. Everything on this bike and that we talked about today is available on shop.yaminoob.co. So if you want to pick up some Nelson Rigg gear, whether that's the Dual Sport Trails End collection or maybe one of the other collections like for a sport bike or something like that, all of it is for sale on the luggage section of shop.yaminoob.co. So with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Well, look at you. You've made it to the end of another Yami Noob video. You should consider yourself pretty lucky because I have curated this one right over here for you to continue watching. It's probably just as good as the one you just saw. Unless you hated the one you just saw. I don't know, maybe leave me a comment down below about how much you hated it as well too. Or just keep watching this one. Make sure you keep watching Yami Noob. Don't forget to keep watching Yami Noob. That's the most important thing. Keep watching Yami Noob.